That's bad when you have to try to sink your boat the other day.
Pretty much, you just put a whole bunch of water in the boat, didn't you?
4 a.m. Lord, don't it come way too soon? You think by now it'd be something you'd be used to. So put on your coffee and turn on the news. It's gonna be hot as hell, but at least the skies are blue. Your clocking them wore out, but you do what you gotta do. I know you're tired, I know you're hurting, I know you broke down to the bone. But your bills are paid and the smiling faces waiting on you at home. And it ain't always easy, it ain't ever like you planned, oh, but man, ain't it working man? Now you're going home while the sun's going down. You're still miles away, you can already hear the sound of a little voice saying, Daddy, come out and play. So you're still a couple more minutes from a damn good day. You're clocking them wore out, wouldn't want it any other way. I know you're tired, I know you're hurting, I know you broke down to the bone. But your bills are paid and there's smiling faces waiting on you at home. It ain't always easy, it ain't ever like you planned, oh, but man, ain't it working man?
I mean, it's going to be really easy for people to watch this episode and just skip through to the 3.5 foot alligator gar that we have on the side of the boat to try to get off our line. It's going to be easy for you to flip through to the 25-pound catfish that's in the live well, or the 20-pound catfish that we pull out of the water. It's going to be easy for you to look at that, but that's not the point of this episode. Point of this episode is to reach out to that small group of people that are in the same boat that I was when I was in my 30s, and the same boat that Jimmy was in when he decided to become a fisherman in 1986. Working tough jobs. In his case, it was a factory job. In my case, it was working at a farm. Waking up every single morning before the sun comes up, getting to work as the sun comes up, coming home with just enough energy to crack a beer, maybe take a few sips of it, and then fall back down asleep at your recliner. Wake up just long enough to eat some dinner, crawl back into bed, and do the whole thing over tomorrow. Now, that's not a problem. A lot of men out there and a lot of women out there are hard workers, and they take pride in that. I know I did. When I did that job, I took my body was at its physical prime. I was physically moving things all day, and I had become such a larger person that the whole job and the attributes of the job had gained a level of respect in the people around me that I did it just to do it. The pay for the job wasn't relevant to me at the time that I was doing it because of how overwhelming the obstacles that we had to get over every single day, and we would knock them out. A group of 3 or 4 guys getting together to just move a mountain, and the mountain would get done at the end of the day, when at the beginning of the day there was no way anything could ever have gotten to the end of the problem that we were trying to solve. And you kind of get stuck in that. But what's going on in the background is every 2 weeks you don't have enough money to pay your bills, and you're working 14 days but you have enough money to pay for 10 days. And one of the things that I think is very common in the thread of me finding these entrepreneurs and meeting them while I travel around America is that they were in a situation where they were working endless hours and didn't have any money. And I remember saying to my boss before I went to part-time and just basically said I'm only going to work 2 days a week from now on in my life. I said to my boss, and I was pretty pissed, and I said, you know, I can be broke without working. I don't need to be putting 60 hours a week into not having money. That doesn't make sense to me. I could never work and have no money, and that would be the same outcome. And then he looked at me, and he kind of, it didn't fall on deaf ears. He understood it. He saw it, and he realized how much time and effort he was asking people to put into things and how little reward they were getting out of it. And the same thing for Jimmy. He was in a factory job, putting in countless hours. They wouldn't let him take a vacation for his honeymoon. They wouldn't let him, basically, at the end of the day, you need to be there, and you need to be working at a pace faster than the pace that you were working the day before, and it doesn't matter if you don't have any money at the end of the week. So he did the same thing I did. Just done with it. Done. I'm done. I can be broke without working. Right. Now, fast forward since 1986, and he is making a living off of what he wants to do. He's not a filthy rich gentleman, but he's happy. Big difference in life. So, enjoy this video. I know it was a lot of fun to make. It was a great experience. I've learned more in this last week than I've learned all month, so it's pretty amazing. So the steering is wired with 2 pulleys. Oh, that's ingenious. Look at that. And then it's controlled right here.
I come up with that about 10 years ago.
It's
No,
just genius. I saw you driving, and so you can be right here by the tank and out and working right on your throttle.
Yeah.
Wow. And then look at the front of this boat. It's a big open deck.
For a lot of time.
And this boat is a tank. It's made of metal. It's just,
Basically,
yeah. You just drop that down, and then those are the baits. Oh, and you label them too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I gotta do that.
Because of the air compressor, I'm gonna have to do some voiceovers during this episode, but what Jimmy's showing me is that this is a float. It actually has his name and contact information on it, and it's 50 feet of nylon running up to the float. He then drops the anchor in and puts the float on one side of the river, and then he backs up, dropping this line, 600 feet of line in the water. The line is made up of floats and weights, making the line basically bob up and down at the bottom 10 feet of the river. Look at how big is something like that?
Maybe 25. Take that damn racket making thing off, man.
25 pounds. Jeez Louise.
You see him?
Yeah, that is insane. I've never seen something that big, other than like, you know, in the Lake Michigan.
I've caught them a lot bigger than that.
And then do you do that on purpose, or does that just happen?
It just happened.
Okay.
I probably done that on the line when I was bringing them up.
Bringing them up? Okay.
Yeah, probably just.
I didn't know if you had to like nip them to show that you grabbed them. But there's no limit on catfish, so you don't have to mark them or anything, right? Okay.
Well, actually, there's a limit on them. I'm allowed one 34 inches and over.
Okay. I think I saw that.
Yeah, that one right there is all I'm allowed.
So if you caught 2 on your line, you'd have to let it go and just bring 1 in.
Yeah.
Okay.
One over 34 inches.
Okay. And then the rest it doesn't matter.
Oh, no, I'm allowed all them I can catch.
That's so amazing. And then do you sell them at like a fisher's market, or?
No, I started up a little market there at home and just started selling to individuals around home.
Okay.
And year before last when I started, I'd sell 10, 15, 20 pound was a big order.
Okay.
And last year, I don't know if it's over that COVID or what, but something blowed up. You get down here and catch 200 pounds, you better not call over 1 or 2 people because they come clean you up.
Really?
And
So before I came down here, I had never had catfish, and then I went to Rochelle's a week ago.
Yeah.
And I got a plate.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, it's really good.
what else is your shells at?
It's right off of 143, exit 143.
Okay.
Right up here, one more exit off.
All right. These fish here is nothing like probably what you eat.
Okay, because they're not fresh caught, right?
Those are pond raised fish. These here is river fish. They coming out of fresh water, and there's as much difference between the pond raised and these as daylight and dark.
Okay.
You can actually smell those other fish when you go to cook them.
I am standing here and I don't smell fish at all. That's
Well,
crazy.
I'm saying that them pond raised fish, you start cooking them and you can smell it. It's got like a musky smell
Okay.
to it. These won't do that.
No, I'm amazed at how this doesn't even smell with them right here.
No, they won't smell.
That's nuts. Oh, that's amazing. Just like that. You can feel it.
Yeah, I felt it.
Okay.
Bouncing out there. Not near as big as that last time.
So every buoy has its own box, or every line has its own box?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how long the lines are?
Most of them about 600 feet.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Get a roll of the line and look at it. Most of the time it'll have on there how long that pound of nylon is. Most of the time it's around 630 feet.
Okay. And it just sits on the bottom? Or right around? Or
I'll show you here in a minute.
Okay.
I got floats and weights on it.
Oh, I see.
You
Okay.
see that line jerking right there?
Yeah. Oh, there he is. Yeah. More than one.
There's a drum next to it.
Right there. Ooh, easy.
We just barely was on it, too.
Look at him jump right off, right in the net.
Yeah.
Seems like just such a peaceful way to do life. And then you have the second motor runs like the air for the tank?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a air compressor.
Okay.
Hey.
Ooh, look at that. Look it out of the way. The line in the box, this thing is just amazing. Because with that many hooks on a line, you would just think you would really hurt yourself, but organizing it that way.
I say whenever you pull this line, it just walks that line right back out of the box.
As with most fishermen that have been turned professional, Jimmy does not remember the first time he went fishing. He remembers when he was 7 years old, he was out commercial fishing with his dad. He was running the line, and he pulled up a 51-pound catfish when he was 7.
Grip.
Out of all the ones you pulled, that's the first time the thing's gotten stuck in the net. That's amazing.
This time they don't get stuck now. These hot pickers like this does that. Quit.
How much meat does that make, a little one like that?
That right there, about pound and a half.
Okay. Look at that. And it just wears the line right in the aluminum from the nylon. That's crazy. You could break your way out of jail if you had enough time with a nylon rope.
Oh yeah. See on that other side over there, it's PVC.
Jimmy's line snaps as he's pulling it up, and I think to myself, now there's 500 feet of line hanging out in the river with all his tackle that he just lost. It's horrible. And he just drops the anchor and drives his boat in reverse, dragging the bottom of the anchor until he eventually finds his line. And he does it all while he's telling me a great story about a kid he knows that will basically help him out anytime he needs help. It's just amazing. It was a perfect timing.
It's look at that. He just tied it right together.
If you're just try to sit still, don't move around, make a lot of racket.
Okay, I
If
can.
they do,
Yep. So what's happening here is that he can feel on the line that he has a fish that's over 50 pounds. He also knows that he has a little fish that's that's coming up first, okay? And he can't fit a 50-pound fish in the net, so he uses a metal hook. The problem is, just as he's pulling, when you pull these fish up, if they're not hooked on the line and they're just eating another catfish, they can spit up that catfish. And basically, that's what's about to happen, where he's about to pull this huge catfish out, and the big catfish spits out the little catfish, leaving the little catfish on the line.
That thing just got slack. I believe he had one swallowed and he spit it out. That's what he done. Yep. See where he scraped him up? That's a decent fish.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Whenever I picked it up, the second hook I had an alligator gar about 4.5 foot long on it. He's what pulled that anchor off.
This dinosaur.
And the fish on the other side of it.
Look at that thing. It's like a snake.
Just slow down a minute. Get that hook out of it. Darn it.
Oh, look at his mouth.
That's cool.
There you go.
Jumping up in
This is one of those like afternoon storms where the wind, like if you look online, the wind's supposed to come out of the west, which is right behind me, right out of here, at 4 miles an hour, which is, to me, perfect weather to sit in this chair and hang in the hanging hammock and just go relax and go back and forth. But I've gotten 4 or 5 gusts of wind come through here that are, I mean, they're in a hurry. They're trying to get through here fast, a lot faster than 4 or 5 miles an hour. So what I had to do was, well, number one, I think I'm going to end up having to move the boat. But I had to actually tie a line to a tree, which I typically don't do. But I took this pontoon that's underneath me, and I tied it up to that tree over there, which is just giving me a little bit more force to stay here because I don't really want to go for a ride. I'm cozy. I'm enjoying it. So I spent the morning catfishing with Jimmy Lindsay. Super nice guy. Took a lot of time and effort to show me everything. Yeah, but I wanted, after all the talk that I've had about, I probably showed 10 different ways for catfish to be caught in different traps they use. And I've talked about catfish in maybe 5 different episodes of this. I figured it's a good chance for everyone to actually go with a commercial, with a guy. He owns his own business. He catches hundreds of pounds of catfish several days a week, and then he sells them at his own market out of his house. So it's a perfect little American success story, you know, where someone's just doing exactly what they want to do all day. That's the one definition. People, I don't think people understand this. The definition of freedom that I heard that makes the most sense to me was from a guy who lived in Alaska. He was a trapper, and he said, real freedom is the ability to do whatever you want all day, every day. That's what real freedom is. And I think that Jimmy is as close to it as any person I've seen.